Good morning, good morning, good morning. I just realized I didn't even look up the card yet. Running a little behind here. That's okay. We're always on time. Whenever we show up, there we are. So, welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance for this fine Friday. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum. I'm here with some words of wisdom. And I don't know if you caught a glimpse there. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. And it looks like someone else is here also. The number says 2, but I've only seen Abigail's name pop up. So, who else? Who else is here? Who else is ready for some really cool wisdom? Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. Glad you're here. Good morning, good morning. We'll give it a minute for everybody to start rolling. Oh, and Kennedy's there too. Good morning, Kennedy. Glad you're here. And Barb and Angie. Awesome. You know, I feel like, what was her name? Way back in the day, Romper Room, Miss Somebody, and she'd hold up her magic mirror and she'd look through and every once in a while she'd call your name and you're like, how'd you see me? It was just, very exciting when you're a little kid. Very exciting. So hopefully this is as exciting for all of you. We have the Wild Kuan Yin deck. We have not had this in ages. Ages. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Welcome. We have the Wild Kuan Yin deck from Alana Fairchild, and this is such a powerful deck. And I didn't even have time to pre-read today because I was running late, but we'll all discover it at once. It'll be great. So how y'all doing? Everybody doing well? I hope so. She never said Joe Neal. Good morning, Joe Neal. Good morning. I thought I did. I thought I said it to you first, and then I saw that Kennedy was there. And maybe it didn't roll your name ahead. It just was your... Yeah, sometimes it's a mess. Good morning to Joe Neal and Kennedy. So, Wild Kuan Yin deck. For those of you who are unfamiliar, like Kennedy, I don't think you've had a Wild Kuan Yin deck card yet. They are long. Thank you for the energy for your daughter. Doing better. Yes. The power of energy. The Romper Room person. Yes. What was her name though? Miss... I can't remember. Someone will remember. There are those people who just have archives in their mind who can pull anything at any time. So we'll figure out who she was. But I remember the mirror. Boy, I remember that mirror. So let's see where we want to go today. First thing I want to do is, again, put in a plug for Unity Cafe. Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Central Time. We gather for an hour on Zoom and talk about whatever moves our souls at the moment. And bring your cup of coffee or tea or gin, whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your life. And we pick topics. We kind of check in, see where everybody's at, and then we talk about whatever is most prevalent on someone's mind. So things we kind of threw out as potentials for this round are communication, working on better communication, because boy, we could all use it, and grieving issues. What and who are we grieving, and how are we grieving, and do we allow ourselves to grieve, and what's the value of grief anyway, and all the things. So we'll see where the conversation takes us, but that's Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. So if you're not already on my list and haven't already gotten the link, I send it out again to the whole list right before the call, but if you want to be on that list, send me an email to bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Welcome. So because these are longer cards, let's jump right in. So it is the Wild Kuan Yin deck from Alana Fairchild, and the art on these cards is utterly stunning. It's absolutely amazing. And usually in each card, the artist has hidden some industrial kinds of things. There'll be a train track that runs through, or there'll be a yard light or something interesting in the middle, and the yak. The yak is just beyond words. So, a little bit of tapping, a little bit of breath. In through the nose, out Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. A little deeper. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And you can keep tapping and or breathing, deep breathing, hopefully keep breathing, but deeper breathing throughout this process and throughout your day, because yesterday for the Episcopal Church of Northern Michigan, we're back on track with doing our weekly meditations on Thursday nights, and this one was the Rob Bell video from 2006, I think, almost 20 years ago. Wow. On breath and how breath and God go together. It was very interesting stuff. So here is our card for today. And I'm going to move it in closer. It is Sacred Falcon Shows the Way. So there's the falcon, whiter than they are around here. Yes. And there's Kuan Yin, sailing through the air as usual. And the yak. We gotta have the yak. So, let's take another nice deep breath. Let it go. Here are our words. And again, these are longer readings. So just kind of sit and open yourself up for the information to wash over you. And the feelings that go along with the information to just wash over you. And let's see where we're at the end. Sacred Falcon shows the way. My wisdom is embodied in nature. I speak to you through the language of the natural world. You will understand my guidance for you as you trust in your observations of nature. Look for my signs. My language is symbolic, humorous, clear, and loving. And what do we get when we're out in nature? We feel things, we feel at one with, we learn things, we soak stuff up. We're kind of childlike when we're out in nature, right? So doesn't this make sense? This is the divine feminine speaking to us through what we experience in nature. Gotta love it. I talk to you every day, my divine wild child. Within you are the wild instincts and loving intuitions that can recognize my signs, the presence of my guiding hand. I am speaking to you. Believe. My favorite word ever, believe. The Divine Mother has many ways of communicating. We can be most receptive to her helpful guidance when we are open, without expectation as to how she shall communicate or what she shall tell us. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. We must be willing to trust our hearts when we feel moved, even if our logical mind has doubts. We'll pause there, because how many of us demand that we must feel certain before we make a move? We can be in significant doubt and yet take a step. Your heart just knows when you have received a sign from the Divine Mother. It could be the most ordinary occurrence, a simple remark made by another, a song on the radio, the sudden appearance of an animal, especially if that animal is doing something out of the ordinary. I had one of those many years ago. I was leaving Bobby Silverstone's house, and I was just racked up over this question, this life question. And as I drove down the road, I saw an eagle sitting at the side of the road. And there was a dead deer there. It was feeding, but it stopped. And instead of flying off as I drove past, it just stared at me the whole way past. Never moved anything else but its head. And I'm like, that's a sign. Underneath this apparent ordinariness, there is a sense of the numinous, a magic that catches your breath before your mind steps in to discount it as fanciful. I think I said hi to you, Angie, but hi, Angie, you're rolling again. So there must be something here for you, something good for you. You sense and feel something profound beneath the appearance of the everyday. Or perhaps your sign is more dramatic. An accident that seems like a warning, or a synchronicity too vivid or compelling to ignore. And that's why I have done for years with clients that cheeky little thing of the next 3 things. If you're toiling over trying to find an answer to something, put it out to the universe. Okay, show me some signs. Pay attention to the next 3 things that grab your attention. Might be a song on the radio, might be a bumper sticker, a billboard. The message can come in all manner of ways, all right? I'll tell you a gross one. My friend Kathy was struggling with something from her past, and she's driving along the road at night, and she's looking behind her, and she runs over a dead deer in the road. And I said, so what was the message? And she goes, stop looking back. It was funny and gross. Yeah. What shows a sign to be a communication from the divine rather than any other mundane happening is the feeling that accompanies it. And it's that feeling that accompanies it right off the bat, initially, before we get our head in the way, right? The ego from the back of the bus telling us we're not where we think we are. It captures your attention and you sense there is meaning for you, even if you're not sure immediately what that meaning could be. For one person, it may be a ladybug landing on their shoulder. Without thinking, they flick it off. For you, however, that same simple happening could reflect a deeper communion. The landing of the ladybug is the reassuring touch of the Divine Mother upon your shoulder. Maybe a bird strikes into prey right in front of you. For you, it is a sign of great opportunity that you must be ready to act without hesitation. A single white feather, as if from an angel, could fall from the sky and land at your feet. Somehow you know everything is going to be all right. Another person may not give these things a second thought. When the oracle of the sacred falcon shows the way, comes to you, you are being told to trust the signs. Trust what your heart tells you, what you feel, over and above any apparent logic. Get out of your head and into your heart. Trust where you are being led and what you feel the divine is communicating to you through the happenings in the natural world. And I want to go back to my esteemed colleague and friend, Kayleen Welsh, who shared this amazing little ditty that I think fits beautifully with what we're talking about right now. I choose to be led by love energy rather than pushed by fear energy. Yeah, love that one. Trust even in the signs you sense through the modern world created by humanity, such as a song on the radio or a book that seems to demand that you purchase it, for there is divine guidance in all things if we know how to feel and look for it. Dragonflies and feathers, there we go. Yeah, feathers to me are a sign from my mom. But what I like about the next 3 things tool is it is cheeky. You know, it's the modern stuff. It's a bumper sticker. It's whatever. You know, so are you walking past somebody and they say something and you're like, holy cow. You know, because they're being the earth angel that's channeling what the universe wants you to know. Yes. Angels are with you when you see feathers. Fabulous. Fabulous. And isn't that comforting? It's like, we're not doing this earth walk alone. We have support. We have support. Let's see. Where are we? You don't have to understand the bigger picture here. Thank God, because we sure don't. The messages you receive do not have to conform to logic. They don't even have to translate into words. You may simply have a feeling of connection and reassurance, a sense that cannot be justified or explained, that somehow whatever has been bothering you is being taken care of by a greater power. Whether or not you have a clear and conscious interpretation of what you recognize as your sign, you are being given valuable guidance nonetheless. At a deeper level, it has an impact and will inform your choices. So it is safe to have faith in these signs. And I want to repeat that. It is safe to have faith in these signs, especially when you're surrounded by naysayers. That's dumb. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a stupid feather that fell from the sky. Let them be the naysayers. Let them be the doubters. Let them. And you move forward with what you know in your heart and soul. All right? Have faith in these signs, and to do so you will need to trust your own heart and feelings. Let yourself continue to be led by inner instincts that recognize and interpret the signs and omens of life, even whilst your mind may question whether the divine could be so interested and active in even the smallest details of your life. This oracle of Sacred Falcon shows the way also comes with a special message. Even in the most unlikely of circumstances, a way can be found. It will not necessarily be a consciously understood way. You can allow the instincts of your own nature to help you find what you seek. Instinct is not intellectual deduction justified by logic. Instinct is more like intuition in that it comes from deep within the body. So your body is an instrument of intuition. If you view it that way, will you take care of it a little better, maybe? An instrument of intuition, not quieting it down with sugar, right? We're giving it rest. Yeah, it is safe to have faith in these signs. Yes, yes, yes. Where intuition comes from the heart, instinct arises from the body's knowing and expresses itself through your bones. A gut feeling from deep in the belly, or a sense of smell that alerts you to something or someone not being quite right. There's actually a word for that. You know how we talk about disgust? There's dismell. And smell is one of our most rudimentary senses. It is a very early having developed sense. We want to use it more. We want to pay attention to it. If something smells off, it's off. All right? Instinct is your body's version of intuition and is natural and helpful. The process of socialization and education typically tries to impose reason and logic, intellectual and rational explanation upon your instinctual self as though the intellect is somehow superior. Intellect is a form of useful intelligence, but to allow it to dominate instinct is not intelligent at all. So again, intellect gets to the back of the bus. It can be of assistance to heart and soul, but heart and soul drive the bus. Instinct can tell you when something is not as it seems, such as when a person's words do not match their intentions. Well, and interestingly, we were talking about that yesterday at lunch, that one certain event that is in our recent presidential history, as we look back at it, it's very clear it was not real. It was not real at all. There's no normal aftermath of that particular event. And looking back at it now, it's like that was set up. That was a show. That's not real. That's not real at all. You don't have to think about how you know. You just know. Instinct for when to trust and when to remove yourself from a situation or relationship, for knowing when to rest and for knowing when to hunt for nourishment, is a natural part of your body's wisdom and helps you live well. I remember when my mom had my little brother, that was the era where you were supposed to feed your child every 2 hours and not in between. Even then, I thought that was ridiculous. He's crying. He's hungry. Feed him. He knows when he's hungry. Feed him. That was another medicalization of something that was a natural occurrence, right? When instinct is combined with the intuition of the heart, you are given not only powerful impulses to guide your life, but also the wisdom to respond to that information consciously and in ways that are constructive and will take you forwards on your life path. Like you can't screw it up if you're following that inner guidance. Instinct gives you the information, and intuition tells you how to deal with it in the best way. I love that. That is a fabulous line. If any of you would want to put that in our feed, I would be eternally grateful. Instinct gives you the information, and intuition tells you how to deal with it in the best way. For thousands of years, wild birds have been tamed by the falconer for hunting purposes. One of the keys of falconry is the bond between the hunter and the falcon. It takes time to develop and is based on clear, simple reinforcement. When your wild instincts have been damaged by social conditioning, we can feel confused, uncertain, and lacking in self-confidence. Holy buckets, doesn't that say a lot? Doesn't that say a lot? Let me read that again. When our wild instincts have been damaged by social conditioning, we can feel confused, uncertain, and lacking in self-confidence. This can happen when we ignore our body and sit at a desk for prolonged hours, or keep our emotions in check, not making a fuss. We ignore what we feel as there's no logic at the time to support our feelings. And how many of us, especially as women, have had that in terms of a dating circumstance, passing someone on the street? You just have that gut sense, something isn't right here. If you heed the message, things tend to turn out way better than if you shove down that guidance and don't listen to it. We ignore what we feel as there's no logic at the time to support our feelings. Restoring the honored connection between instinct and intuition, thank you, Gwen, I appreciate it, between the deep knowing of our body and the loving wisdom of our heart is an integral part of our rewilding journey to become fully alive, divine human beings, rather than one with a broken will and disconnected mind, body, soul. So part of what I think is going on right now is people reclaiming their sovereignty, reclaiming this wild part of themselves that has this amazing knowingness that we need right now. This oracle brings you encouragement with such a process. Just as the falconer builds a bond with the wild falcon, who then helps the hunter with their task, so too do we need to repair the bond with our bodily instincts. This means that we do not judge them, do not shame ourselves for them, do not blindly act them out. We need the wise intuition of the heart to know what to do with those instinctual responses, but nor do we try to repress them. We learn to listen, to care, to value, to respect. When our body feels something, especially something uncomfortable or pleasurable, we are curious, open, inquisitive, and non-judging, and our intuitive heart responds to the information the body provides. When we choose to live with wildness, which means openness to all of who we are rather than the parts that seem proper, appropriate, socially acceptable, controlled, and tamed, then we need our instincts, just like the hunter needs the falcon. We must learn to trust at that deeper level, restoring dignity to our basic responses to life, and learning to use their messages with wisdom. If you have started this process of rewilding, of healing your relationship to your own instincts and letting them recover from abuse, suppression, or denial, gaslighting anybody? Just saying. Then this oracle brings encouragement to continue. Your healing will be wildly successful and most helpful for your quality of life and spiritual growth. Is that not what's happening? People are waking up. People are saying, wait a minute, this doesn't work for me. Wait a minute, what you're saying and what you're doing are two different things. Wait a minute, this is not heading us in a healthy direction. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. If, for example, you have an instinct that something or someone is right or not quite right for you, then this oracle is confirmation of that assessment. Do not dismiss these feelings as being merely judgment on your part, and therefore your own issue, rather than a truth showing itself to you. And again, if we decide someone isn't right for us, it's not rejection. It's lack of alignment. We don't fit together. We're not meant, we don't click, right? So it's not a judgment other than to say, this isn't a good fit for me. This person will be a great fit for someone else, not a good fit for me. There may be a situation where you are involved in a project with a particular person and you have let them know that it is not a good idea for you to work together, even if you are not sure why. Or perhaps you are sensing that a personal relationship is not healthy for you, despite a long history together and no particular change in the relationship that you can articulate. You may wish this person well, but it would be best to heed instincts, cut ties, and thereby avoid unnecessary complications and struggles later on. As you learn to listen and respond to your instincts, you'll find it easier to trust them because you'll see from experience what happens if you ignore them. Anyone want to put a few things in the feed as to what happens when you ignore them? Life can flow much more easily when you trust your instincts, even if at the time it seems more difficult to act upon than you are sensing. This trust will require you to have self-esteem, self-love, and self-confidence. If you feel you are lacking in any of those qualities, ladies, you can be sure this oracle is bringing you a message that they are being developed through the way you choose to respond to life experiences. I have had several people the last couple of days be talking about things that are of this nature. So someone walking away from someone at work because it's that poisonous kind of contact. Nope, I'm going to get back to work. And off she went. Someone else asking for something she needed. Would there be a way that I could get paid for this? Putting it into words. Taking the willingness to be uncomfortable. The willingness to be uncomfortable. To actually advocate for yourself. We need practice. We need lots of practice. And the universe will kindly and lovingly give us those opportunities, right? Those qualities of love, esteem, and confidence are needed for your next steps on your life path. It is an act of self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence to trust in your instincts. You are being reassured that they will not lead you astray, but indeed towards nourishment. So now here's the healing process. So place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. And we're going to do call and response. So if you can say this aloud, please do. If you're around other people and you'd rather not, maybe come back to this part and do it out loud when you have the opportunity. Maybe you need to take a drive and go sit in the park and play this again and say it out loud as you're sitting in your car. Whatever you need. Okay. So, again, call and response. Kuan Yin, Wild Divine Mother. I call upon your grace and blessing. Sacred Falcon, Sacred Animal Body. With instincts so wild and loving heart with wise intuition, I call upon you both. Of my own free will, I choose to forgive myself for ever ignoring my intuition or instincts. I forgive myself for any time I did follow instinct or intuition and became frightened of what happened and pulled back, not willing to commit to a course of action, and where I felt betrayed, abandoned, or disappointed. I now choose to trust unconditionally in the safety of following my instincts and intuition. I forgive and release any person, any memory from this or any lifetime where listening to my instincts or intuition has elicited judgment or fear. I no longer choose to carry this memory. Instead, I now choose to experience the peace of trust in my instinctual body and my intuitive heart. I trust myself. Through my own free will and the grace of Wild Kuan Yin, who loves me unconditionally, it is so. Now, with one hand still on your heart and one on your belly, rest for as long as feels good, perhaps with your eyes closed. When you feel it is time, simply open your eyes. You have completed your healing process. So that is our card for today. There's Wild Kuan Yin again with our wonderful yak following the falcon. So today, let us practice our instinct, listening to our instincts, and tuning into our intuition. So when you notice something in your body, the instinct part, tap into your intuition. What am I to make of this? What guidance do I take from this? Is there a step I need to take? Awesome. Oh, I'm glad. I love this card deck. This is one of my most profound card decks. And you know what's really funny about this card deck? My friend Carol found it for me at a resale store. Thrift shop. Yep. So Wild Kuan Yin came to me through a thrift shop. We don't want to cut off our opportunities here. Information can come to us in myriad ways. All kinds of opportunity is out there. Again, yes, I love this card. Glad you enjoyed it too. We adjust our lenses oftentimes to be very narrow, so we can't see all that's actually out there. It's all there. We've got a smorgasbord of opportunities there. So let's clear off the lenses so that we can see them and choose them and allow the instinct to guide us to the ones that we need to pick and the intuition to show us how to pick them and how to live them. So that's it for today. Happy Friday. Enjoy your day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. And just again, a little plug for Unity Cafe. If you're not already on my list and you'd like to be invited, just send me a message in the private messages here or Bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.